Really interesting story here in Wired magazine. It says, would you take LSD to give you a boost at work? Wired takes a trip inside the world of microdosing. Under pressure to perform, Silicon Valley champions are taking tiny hits of LSD before heading to work. Are they risking their health or optimizing it? Okay, now they say, Lily, not her real name. I love it when they do stuff like that. A publicist for several startups sits down with a cup of tea and a credit card-sized bag of dried magic mushrooms. The 28-year-old breaks up the caps and stems and places them into a herb grinder. She then scoops the pulverized mixture into empty gel pill capsules, weighing each one on a tiny scale. Once finished, she pops one of the capsules into her mouth and washes it down with PG tips. She's now ready to start her working day. Quote, it helps me think more creatively and stay focused, she says. I manage my stress with ease and am able to keep my perspective healthy in a way that I was unable to before. Lily is one of many young professionals in San Francisco and beyond experimenting with microdosing, taking small quantities of psychedelic drugs, typically LSD or psilocybin mushrooms, every few days in the hope of improving their performance at work. In small amounts, say a tenth of a full dose, users don't experience a consciousness-altering trip, but instead report improvements in concentration and problem-solving, as well as a reduction in anxiety. Proponents Wired has spoken to, including software engineers, biologists, and mathematicians, say that it induces a flow state, aids lateral thinking, and encourages more empathetic interpersonal relationships. Now, this is something that doesn't surprise me at all, but it would surprise many, many people in the country, because we've all had it hammered in our heads from when we were younger, like, drugs are bad, okay? And, like, just say no, okay? And that's just not accurate. So, yes, are there some people with some drugs where there's something in their personality or how they're wired or whatever it is, that they get addicted and it's bad and they spiral out of control and they need help? Yes. But understand, that's a lot like, with alcoholics. There's a certain percentage of the country that's going to be effectively addicted to alcohol, and it could ruin their life. Does that mean we ban it for the rest of the people in the country? No, that'd be ridiculous. Well, it should be the same with other drugs, too. And by the way, with psychedelic drugs, there's not really a component of addiction. There's not. They're just not physically addictive. So, yes, it's true that drugs, probably even many of the ones that you were told, there's no way this can be positive, they can have some positive effects. So they mention in the piece, they're like, yeah, a lot of these people in Silicon Valley are using these drugs, similar to like how somebody would use Adderall if they want to be really productive at work. By the way, what is Adderall? Very similar in how it functions in the body to cocaine. So yes, there's some people, certain personality types, you take an Adderall, you get very focused, you get sharp, and you can get more done. And it's a positive thing for some people. This is like, people need to stop with the black and white. There's always bad, and things are black and white always. No, there's massive gray area in the world, and sometimes even a drug that might be harmful for you could be actually beneficial for some people. So you're talking about microdosing LSD, microdosing psilocybin mushrooms. People report positive effects across the board. These are drugs that have also been used in tests for hospices, in studies for hospices, where people are right on death's doorstep and they're given a mushroom trip, or they're given LSD, or they're given ecstasy. And those are not microdosing, to be clear. But people take it and it's a life-changing thing where they're not even scared anymore to die, and they're on the verge of death. They're happy. It changes them. It makes them fulfilled, gives them joy. So this idea of just say no, and this Puritan, Victorian mindset of like, it is bad and it is improper and it is immoral, that's just not accurate. Drugs should be legal, taxed, and regulated so people get the right, dosages and amounts, and we're reasonable about it. But yes, we don't lock people in a cage for experimenting with their consciousness, and in many cases, like what we're learning with here, with this microdosing, having just flat-out positive effects. So no, there's no scorn or judgment on people like this. There's nothing immoral or unethical about this. It's a useful tool that they use, makes people happier, makes people get their job done and feel more fulfilled. I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. But unfortunately, our laws are so far behind what the evidence and reason would dictate.